channel. This is Spirit Soul Sense, information for your soul. I think today I'll start with one of the 365 gathered truths. So I did it in my last couple of videos. It says, if people sat outside and looked at the stars each night, I'll bet they'd live a lot differently. Bill Watterson. I'm always trying to think how it fits with the topic of today's video. You know, you're here for dating. I yesterday was around, I stayed up late last night. I was around a lot of single people doing a lot of single things. And when I say single, I don't mean unmarried, because I'm unmarried, but I have a boyfriend. I mean like very single people, very, you know, doing and talking about single things. And I guess, I mean, I've always been wiser than my age, right? But I feel like my 20s were definitely an evolving time for me, a learning period of time for me. And there's just some things that I feel like I understand, that I guess I've understood but apply now, that some people just don't seem to get still. Right? Which is why there's a proliferation of dating coaches online. I'm not a dating expert. I might be an expert on human psychology, but I'm not a dating expert. So I don't like giving dating advice. I really think the best advice is self-development, personal advice. But I'm gonna show you a clip of a woman, a YouTuber, talking about dating. And then I'm gonna talk about, well, why is she still single? I mean, and you know, all the modern dating things.
My ideal type is like, you know, tall, because I'm 5'7", so I want someone over 6 foot. Like, it's just, you know, over 6 foot. So it just seems, from what I've experienced so far, it seems like my type are the ones who are just waste men, are the ones who don't treat you well. And the people who are below 6 foot, the ones who actually like me for me, are the ones that I'm not attracted to. I know some people say, oh, it's not about just the looks and stuff, but honestly, that initial attraction really makes a big difference. And it also determines how you will treat them as well. Like, imagine waking up to someone every, you know, when you get married, obviously, waking up to someone every day and staring at them and just like what did I settle for? Like, I honestly feel like I settled in, even though like they treat you so well and they treat you amazing. I still feel like getting with someone more for their personality, and nothing to do with attraction at all, chemistry, no chemistry, but they treat you so well, I feel like that's still settling to me, you know. So it just seems like my type, the over 6 foot, the ones that know they look good and the ones that know that they have options to, all seem to either be emotionally unavailable, narcissists, or just 1950s mindset, you know. Yeah, so like the reason one, like, it didn't work out with, you know, one guy was because he was basically okay. I asked the question, like, obviously these questions, this is why it's so good to, I guess, to date for a while and not jump into like titles and, you know, stuff like, because you need to know what people think about things. Because imagine getting married and then finding out that your partner doesn't want to have kids, or just something that's different to you and you're already married. Like, what would you do? Yeah, so I asked, because obviously I want to, you know, my feelings of having kids change. So I asked the question, you know, when the kid comes, what is the role, or what do you think percentage-wise is the role of the husband when it comes to, like, you know, the night shifts, you know, when the babies are pretty small, you know, during that time where, you know, sleepless nights and stuff like that. What is the role, like, how much, you know, support would you give? And he said to me, in percentage, 30-70, meaning he would have 30% input on our kids' life, our kids' upbringing, our kids, the night shifts, and, you know, taking care of the baby, and 70 me. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, I'm going to suffer in a situation. If I got married to this guy, I would be suffering. Imagine being a single married woman. That is my worst fear. And because of that, my wanting to have kids keeps changing, because I'm meeting guys who are just not about it, who are going to make me miserable. His argument was, oh, well, you know, I work 9 to 5. You know, I need to get to work. Like, I can't be tired of going to work the next day. He said Monday to Friday, and I'll take the kid over the weekend and let you rest. So basically telling me, from Monday to Friday, I'm asking you for help, and you say it's not your day. It's not my day to help. Can you imagine that household? Like, I cannot. When I imagine my future husband, I imagine a very handsome father. I imagine somebody who actually wants to be in all parts of the child's development. They're telling me because, oh, well, I'm paying for everything, which is another thing. A lot of these guys, I seem to meet, maybe not a lot, maybe this particular person, because this is the first time I'm actually experiencing something like this. And to be fair, a lot of guys would think like him, basically think like, well, if I'm, you know, providing, I'm paying all the bills and the mortgage and all that kind of stuff, then that means, you know, the least you can do is take care of our kids. And it's funny because, like, I guess maybe a lot of women out there don't want to do anything. They just want to be taken care of. Someone like me who has been so self-sufficient for the majority of her adult life, for all my adult life, I don't want a man to take care of me financially. I can do that already. So I want somebody who will be there for me emotionally and give me the support I need, because then it means I don't need to get married. If you're telling me that you're only adding value, financial value to my life, then I don't need to get married, because I already have that. Do you get what I mean? So like, I want a husband because I want the partnership. I want someone who will be the head of the home and who also be a father, and not just someone who wants a wife, somebody who wants to be a husband also. Does that make sense? And which also means to me, if that means not having kids, then not having kids, because I'm not going to have kids without a husband. There isn't a specific percentage of who should be doing what. Oh, you should do this. This is your role. That's your role. It's just helping each other where it's necessary. So even when it comes to like cooking, like, not saying, oh, you know, the wife is only going to be the one who cooks and he will just sit around and like wait for things to be like, no, I can't. I need my husband. And even cooking is such a basic skill that every man should have anyway. I need my husband, my partner, to be your partner. I made him feel like I didn't need him. So basically the kind of person he wanted a yes woman. He wanted somebody who would need him financially. He wanted somebody who would go with everything he said, because he talked about different things, you know, getting a home together and stuff like that. He just didn't like the fact that I made my own money and I didn't need support in that department. Like I'm telling you or showing you that I can bring extra income into the household, and that still wasn't good enough for you. Like, you want to feel like, oh, I'm the man, you know, I'm the man that provided the whole thing, when your wife most likely makes a lot more than you, but she wants support. He's like, oh, I don't want you to put any money, I want you to invest your money, which is fair enough, but most women wouldn't even offer to put money into the home, you know? So it's like, he wanted that feeling of like control. Okay, well, I've paid for everything, so I decide what happens. And I was like, I can't be that person. You know, so like I said, so far it's just, I don't know if God just wants me to marry a 5'11" or 5'10" guy, just say that, you know, because those seem to be the ones that, you know, seem to treat me and seem to have like, we have similar mindsets and way of thinking. But no, it was just so disappointing. I think it was a Nigerian man, by the way. It's disappointing. Clearly it must have been, you know, how he saw his parents. And
so in watching this video, so many things stuck out to me. I mean, she's beautiful and she's engaging and she has a nice, you know, YouTube platform, all that stuff, right? But then the things that she was talking about, it just, and I'm sure she lives in the UK or whatever, or, you know, people come from somewhere else. But I think, you know, me not just talking about this lady, I think she is really representative of a lot of modern women who have a lot of money. Yeah, who have their own money or who have more money than average other women their age. And so they think certain ways and think they should have certain things. I don't think anything is wrong with wanting what you want, but I always encourage people to question why you want the things you want. So, you know, I did the video, ditch the list, now your values. On the list is a height requirement. I feel that women who say he must be 6 blank, right? Because she said my type is 6'1", 6. That's not a type. That's just an outward preference. My ex, who I talk about on my, you know, wonderful videos, like my most popular videos about, you know, being in an unhealthy relationship, was 6'5". It's like, I don't know what a waist man is exactly, but, you know, we were in a long-term exclusive committed relationship for years. You know, he went to therapy, he did some work, but he still wasn't in a place where we could be in a healthy relationship together. I wouldn't describe that as a waste man, right? I think that's a man, you know, unlearning his traumas, trying to figure out life. I mean, he just happened to be 6 whatever, but height has never been a requirement for me. I understand biology. All the time I talk about biology. I think it's a great foundation for understanding how we got here, the evolution of what modern relationships are like today. Height is important for women, females, feeling safe and secure, because what we're looking for, generally speaking, most of us, is a provider, protector. So having a man who's stronger than us, taller than us, is a good indication of his strength and being able to protect us from, you know, the bear. Like, this is where this comes from. Protect us from the outside elements, protect us. So I understand wanting a man who's taller than you. But I wouldn't also put on the list, I guess it's fine to say he's taller than you. Most men are taller than you, right? The average height for a woman is like 5'5", I'm 5'5". The average height for a man is 5'8". So if most men are taller than you anyway, if you just pick an average man, you're going to hit one that's taller than you. I understand the wanting a man who's bigger, but I also feel like we also live in 2022. And there are no bears coming after you. There might be if you go hiking and with bears, but generally speaking, there are a lot of different ways for a man to protect you. And so sometimes it's helpful for people who are stuck, because I feel like this is all brainwashing, that he has to be 6 something, right? It's natural for him to be taller than you and for you to want somebody taller than you. But to go to the extreme of 10% of the population, you're then going to only pick from 10% of the population, and half of those are already married, and the other half, not maybe the whole other half, but men who are very tall and attractive, who get past their 30s, get into their 40s, and they're still single, that's a red flag for me. I'm concerned. Have you not had a serious relationship? Like, what's going on? Right quick, I wanted to show pictures of women celebrities who are in relationships with men shorter than them. So all of these men are under 6 feet, right? Some are like 5. I mean, Kevin Hart is 5'4". Clearly, right? She's a model. George Clooney, I think, is 5'10". His wife is like the same height as him. I think Zendaya is 5'10", and Tom Holland is 5'8". And, Nick Jonas is one of my favorite people. They're actually the same height. But Priyanka loves wearing heels. I think they're both like 5'6", 5'7". So the idea that a man can protect you in other ways, right? Then maybe you pick a man who's a little bit more fit, or you pick a man who has a little bit more money, who can hire people to come and do things, right? A man doesn't have to physically do all the things when he can outsource all of that to provide you what it is that you're looking for. That's my take on women who want 6-something men. Women who say that out loud, that's a red flag for me. That's a lot of that is enough for me to understand why a woman is single, because it is superficial. The 6-something, wanting a man who's taller is not superficial, but being so specific about this very tiny demographic of men, and now that you're at your big age, the type of men who are at that height, and what are you saying you're looking for? I'm not in support of anyone who is partnering somebody just to partner with somebody, is because somebody just treats them nice. I do believe there needs to be a spark, there needs to be a connection, there needs to be sexual attraction, like there needs to be some passion. You need to want to have sex with your partner. Like, you need to want to do that. And if you don't have that, then no, I wouldn't suggest, going into that relationship just because the person is nice to you. Nice is a bare minimum. The men should be nice to you in general, all the men, whether you are attracted to them or not. But if you're going to be with somebody, yes, you need to be attracted to them. Why you're only attracted to this very tiny subset of men is the question I would then ask yourself. And then, generally speaking, like traditional, modern women, modern men, I like to think of it as a sort of spectrum of how traditional are you versus how modern are you. And maybe the extreme end of modern is a woman who takes care of a man. I know that's just like sugar baby thing, but I'm thinking there are relationships with women out-earn the man, right? Maybe make 3 times as much as the man. And maybe they have kids and he's the house husband. I think that's a modern way of relationshiping. I don't think it's bad. I think however the relationship works for you is wonderful. And nobody's outside influence needs to be a part of your relationship. You can do whatever you want. And so maybe in the middle of that is the 50-50 relationship. I also don't think anything is wrong with a 50-50 relationship. I think the problem arises when people want to pick and choose what people are 50-50 on. Like, I want to be 50-50 on parenting, but not money. I want to be 50-50 on how often you cook, but not on dishes. Like, I feel like if you go more to traditional gender roles, which is what I like traditional gender roles, but let me remind you, I'm also not from the continental US. I'm from a small island where we are very socially conservative, and we ascribe to a lot of gender roles. People are outliers all the time, but generally speaking, like the partnering is also very natural. Most of my classmates are married, 2-3 children. Like, I am also like, well, everything about my family is kind of not typical. Not typical for like the island, not typical for the church. It's like not really typical, but that's okay. That's okay. I still like gender roles in my relationship, and so I think closer to gender roles is A man makes the money. He is the husband, the head of the household, and all of those titles have a role. Like there's a list of things that go under there. So saying I want a man who's head of household, but I don't want him to only be 30% involved in childcare, doesn't match. Do you see where these things fit? If you're looking for a man who's 50-50 on the kids, you're not looking for a head of household because you want to share head of household, duties and responsibilities with him. I don't want to share head of household. I want my man, based on the income he makes, right? Because I'm also in the camp of my money is extra. We put our money together, we decide what we want to do with it. A lot of my money is going to investment and stuff. Like we are going to, because I also feel like men are so in tune with their biology. I don't know what's going to happen with this new power dynamic imbalance that's happening with women having more money. I think there needs to be a shift, right? Of like coming back to balance. Because while I understand women have more money, independence, we both need to figure out what kind of roles we want to play in this modern landscape of like navigating marriage in 2022, right? And so if I am closer to not whole traditional, right? I have a job. I'm not really interested in not having a job if I get married, whatever. But I have the thinking that it's important for a man to, if I want a traditional sort of man, it's important for the man to provide, right? If he's head of household, he's providing. And so kind of what he says goes, but that's what I want. I want him to lead us into, this dream that we have together, because I trust him to do that. I believe that he can do that. It's a lot of responsibility. Not every man kind of wants to do that. There are lots of men who want to do 50-50. Maybe it's because of the money they're making, or maybe it's just because we live in this modern world and he wants to be 50% involved with the children or 80% involved with the children. Whatever you decide to do, I think it's fine. But if we go to, the extreme or like the super traditional that almost nobody does these days, super traditional, women were the homemakers. Women did like 90%, if not 100% of, washing, cooking, cleaning, taking care of the children. That was, back in the day. I think men want to be more involved, right? And I think 30% is sort of typical for what a traditional man would want, because, and the gentleman that she was, describing sounded fairly traditional, and he didn't sound like he wanted to be 50-50 on some things and not on others. He's like, I want to be head of household. I want to decide where we live. I want to pay all the bills. And I want about 30%, duties with my family. That sounds okay to me. And I'm sure that's going to work for somebody else. Now, for a woman who's saying, I want a 5-bedroom household and I need, a room for my purses. And I also need you to be 50-50 with raising the kids. Those two things don't usually mesh. The man who completely supports you having an extra bedroom just for your stuff, and all of that stuff, the man who fully supports that is usually super busy with work, right? Let her have her things to entertain herself. He's not really going to be involved. Not really. I don't want to say not really. Men love their children. They're involved with their children. But traditional sort of men who, buy stuff for ladies like that, they don't have the time to be super hands-on. Like they have a lot of masculine energy when they're in the room with their kids. Their kids know that they are loved, they're taken care of, that they go on vacations or whatever, but they don't just see dad all the time. Like their mom is the constant in their life. They don't see their dad all the time. So I feel like those things are so obvious to me. What men want, how men think differently, how men don't care. It's not that they don't care, right? Because I also have a doctorate. And I feel like in the dating landscape, things I don't lead with, right? Not that a man doesn't care. My boyfriend is very impressed that I have a, higher education degree. He loves that I love learning about things, that I know a lot of things. Like he loves those things about me, but he's not with me because I have those things, right? He's with me because I'm a nice person, because I make him feel like secure. I bring peace to his life. Everything is just balanced and nice, like he can laugh with me, be his whole self with me, have all the feelings with me because he's human. He can have all the feelings with me and it be a very safe place. That's why he's with me. He's not with me because of how much money I make, right? And when he's factoring home buying and all that stuff, we're not married, so he's also not thinking of my money. I don't think even when we're married, like if we're married, you know, I never know. I don't know. We'll see. But if we get married, you know, I don't think the thought will be how much of her money is my money. Like, I don't think most men think like that. And yeah, the thinking that he's going to, in his mind, when planning out the roadmap, when deciding what's best for the family, I don't think he's thinking that number, including what you bring in. What you bring in is extra, and it's nice or whatever, but I fully support men being men. You know, not in a, I mean, I kind of like assholes, but not in a controlling, manipulative kind of way. But masculine energy leads, it protects, it secures housing, it pays the bills. Like, masculine energy does a lot of those things. And so if you want someone who's mostly masculine, here are the list of things that also go with it, right? Am I wilding? That seems so obvious to me. And then there's one last thing I want to touch on, because so much of my videos have been on healing from unhealthy abusive relationships. And I always want to highlight that if you've dated a narcissist, then you have issues. Yeah, if you have been in a long-term serious relationship with someone who you think is a narcissist, you have healing to do. I know it's like they did this to me and they picked me because I'm strong. What happens in unhealthy relationships is two unhealthy people decided to come together and maintain a relationship. A relationship with a fairly healthy person and an unhealthy person cannot thrive. It doesn't work like that. And so if you have to Google, why is my partner being mean to me? Or how to get my partner to talk nice to me? Or how to get my partner to stop calling me names, stuff like that, right? Stuff I did. Trying to figure out, how can I help this man? How can I be the right woman in this relationship? How can I support him? How can I make my relationship better? All of that thinking, all of that searching is because of hurt in you. Because a healthy person is not searching any of that. They're not asking themselves, why is my partner being mean to me? After a series of times that their partner is mean to them, right? And we're talking like first month, 3 months, right? If you've been dating somebody longer than 3 months, who you think is a narcissist, you need healing before you do any more dating. Because in that time, that's enough time. The first time is usually enough time for healthy people to be like, I don't have to ask why they're being mean to me. I don't care why. I also don't care how to stop it. It's not for me. And so they leave. They never engage in a long-term relationship with a narcissist because it feels so foreign to them what is happening, right? The gaslighting, the manipulation feels so foreign to them that they're repelled. They're repulsed by it. People like us who've been in unhealthy relationships with people who, I don't know, maybe lie, project all of their negative feelings onto you. People who've been in relationship with those kind of people, it feels comfortable. It's a reminder of something from your past. What you have to do is spend some time figuring out, why were you attracted to this person in the first place? What made you stay? I always recommend the book Women Who Love Too Much for people who think they're in unhealthy, codependent sort of relationships, because the book teaches you that it's important to focus on you. This whole savior complex, or I want to help him complex, or, you know, change things, I want to fix things, is unhealthy. And your goal is to focus on you so that you can be the best version of you. If you're in a relationship right now with someone who you think is a narcissist, you do not have to end the relationship right now. If you do the things in the book, the relationship will either change or it will end. You don't have to decide right now, because Because people who've been in these sorts of relationships do this back and forth dance of, do I want to be in, do I want to be out? He said he's changed, he said he's better, he's calling me back, he's doing this, he's apologized, he's giving me thought, right? You're just like, I don't know what to do. I feel like, I don't know. And then you can't talk to anybody about it because after a while, people are like, why are you still with him? And then they make you feel guilty, or you feel guilty, all these things. So you don't have to decide right now that you have to break up. You don't have to do that, okay? There are lots of people who grow. The idea that people with this sort of pattern in relating don't change is a lie. Everyone can learn and grow. It's very, very, very difficult. Think alcoholism. It's very, very difficult for addicts to stop being addicts. And in a sort of narcissistic relationship, you are a love addict. The two of you, you're love addicts. And so it's very difficult to end the addiction, period. Some people don't make it out. But your goal is to focus on you. Focus on you. This is why I don't give dating advice. Because at the end of the day, what you need to be doing is focusing on you. And once you focus on you and you raise your vibration, you raise your standard, you understand the bare minimum of being treated well by someone. It's the bare minimum. Being talked nicely to is the bare minimum. Having a guy pay for a date if you want a sort of traditional relationship is bare minimum. Like, these are not special things. These are bare minimum. Once you get to that level, you don't have to focus so much on dating advice. Because what is aligned with you will come. You will recognize it. It won't be that difficult. And your focus will not be on these guys. These guys are doing this. These guys ain't doing that. These guys, what are you doing? What are you doing? At the end of the day, it's you. Everything that comes to you that resonates with you, you keep around. And it says a lot about you. So my dating advice is always work on yourself. It's always helpful to understand how men think, how women think. I think women know how men think. We just don't care. What we want. And so, if people could just remember, men and women, we want the same things, right? We want love, we want peace, we want somebody to have fun with, all that stuff. But we just want it in sort of different ways. And I think that's okay, right? Men have more testosterone, we have more estrogen. So generally speaking, these are the things people are looking for in heterosexual relationships. Okay, I'm done. Let me know what you think in the comments. Remember to subscribe, check my description box, check out my websites, share this video with someone you think it may help, and thank you for watching.